Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the Noise Various QuietPerf Sound Absorption Systems webinar. We're going to be learning about our QuietPerf panel system, different sizes, different color options, different perf patterns, different variations of installation methods in this webinar. At the end of the webinar, I will review if there's any questions. Please feel free to drop them in the question box, and I will make sure to get those answered for you. We're going to get started here. Again, thank you for joining the QuietPerf Sound Absorption System webinar. Good afternoon. My name is Sal Marquez, Mid-East Regional Sales Manager for Noise Barriers. I'll be your host for this presentation that I hope you'll find informative. The purpose of this webinar is to introduce you to a QuietPerf sound absorption panel system used both in architectural and industrial applications. I will also explain features, technical information, typical applications for the Noise Barriers QuietPerf panels. On the left here, you can see more of an architectural setting where our 2-inch QuietPerf panel is used. On the right side here, you can see where we're used more in the industrial setting. We're a pump station, and you'll see that this perforated panel here has an offset, which we'll discuss more further in the webinar. On the left side, they're flush mounted to the wall. And as you can see, they come in different colors and different styles of installation. Here's some information: architectural applications, gymnasiums, auditoriums, classrooms, community centers, corridors, correctional facilities, transportation, convention centers, theaters, and concert halls. You'll find these QuietPerf panels. Here's a little more information in regards to the NB-II aluminum panel, NB-II, and the NB-II bagged panel, and also the NB-II V-ridge panel, which we'll learn more about further down in the webinar. You also can see the third octoband here for the NB-IV, NB-IV aluminum, NB-IV bagged, and then the NB-III steel panel. QuietPerf, as you can see, you can also in the industrial application, we'll learn a little bit more about this, but some octobands for the NB-II and NB-III, and as well as where their applications, manufacturing facilities, HVAC yards, power plants, loading docks, generator enclosures, machinery rooms, water waste treatment centers, corridors, correctional facilities, transportation, transformers, and gymnasiums. Installation options: wall or ceiling, vertical or horizontal, interior or exterior capabilities. We'll learn more about that further down into the webinar. When and where are QuietPerf used? QuietPerfs are used on barrier wall projects where our quiet line sound barrier is tied into an existing host building. QuietPerf is used on the host wall to reduce noise from hitting the host building and reflecting over the wall. It should be as high as the wall, as high as the wall if possible. QuietPerf is used in larger, high-volume areas with hard surfaces such as pools, gymnasiums, to reduce reverberation, also known as echo. They're also used in production areas to reduce noise levels, particularly on walls near machinery, to reduce reverberation and noise level buildup. Thicker panels are also available. 4-inch versus the 2-inch panel provides better attenuation and lower frequencies, which have longer wavelengths. 100% coverage of the wall is not necessary. Minimum of 50% coverage is adequate. Try to place QuietPerf near corners or where the wall meets the ceiling. Sound absorptive systems. 2-inch, 3-inch, and 4-inch thick panels are standard thicknesses. Additional thicknesses may be supplied if requested. 16 or 22 gauge, 3/32 hold, and on 3/16 staggered centers is Noise Barrier standard perf steel gauge and pattern. Material types include galvanized steel, galvanneal steel, stainless steel, and aluminum. Flatter V-ridge style available. We'll learn more about the V-ridge style further down in the webinar. Tested with acoustical fill, bagged and unbagged. with or without 2-inch airspace behind the panels, also called an offset feature, and we'll learn about that again further down. They've been fire tested for flame and smoke per ASTM E84. Please refer to the following slides for a chart of test reports for absorption panels. Here's some test data for you for an MB2 steel, MB2 with a 2-inch offset airspace, MB2 aluminum, MB2 bag, MB3 steel, and then your MB4 steel, MB4 with the airspace, 2-inch airspace, MB4 with aluminum, MB4 in bag, and then the MB4 in the V-ridge. Standard panel sizes for the 2-inch thick, 18, 24, 30, 42, 48 wide and width. For the 3-inch thick, 16, 22, 28, 40, and 40, 48. 4-inch, 14, 20, 26, 38 wide. For the V-ridge panel, 2.5 inches thick, 18, 24, 30, 42, and 48 in width. Custom sizes are available. Max lengths are in 12 feet. That's a standard for us. For longer options, contact the factory. Other optional features, factory framed openings and notches, and we'll learn more about that further down in the webinar. Mounting options. The first mounting option is just your flush J and Z style, sits flush to the wall. Your second mounting option that we offer is a 2-inch offset. We also offer a 4-inch offset. The bracket types, J bottom and Z top, standard. J at bottom and up down J at the top with a longer front leg. It makes the panel easier to nest into the lower, shorter J. Z and Z style install. Back mounted concealer L. Back mounted concealer Z. And we do most of these, the L's and the Z's you can do when you have more of an architectural setting, if you don't want to see the brackets on the face of the panels themselves. Here's a good example of a 2-inch panel with a Z install, Z and J install on the left here. Here's your building host wall. And on the right-hand side, you have a panel, similar panel, 2 inches thick, with a 2-inch airspace. Here's the host wall. Here's your Z-clip mounting style with a 4-inch airspace. This also helps in lowering frequency that increases low frequency absorption on the right-hand side if you have an offset like this. Horizontal installation. Here's a good horizontal view, and we'll see this in a couple of pictures further down in the webinar. It's a Z-style bracket with a hat channel style, and then you have the Z-style on the other side encapsulating the other end of the panel. Here's a good example of it. Here's the hat channel going vertically on the panels, and you're on the opposite side as well. So, and here's a good picture of the framing around an opening. The framing can be done in the field or in the shop, depending on the proper dimensions provided. They're not difficult to do in the field. We can also provide the flashing required in order to do it in the field. Perforated panel sizes and finishes. Round 3/32 by 3/16, 22% open is the standard. Slotted 41% open area, more for an architectural setting. Refer to the perf option sheet. So there's a perf option sheet. You'll find different styles of perforated patterns that we offer. Panel finish, powder paint is the standard. It's offered in gloss finish, matte finish, textured, and also clear coated finish. So just you can still see the metal, whether it's galvanized, galvanneal, aluminum, or stainless steel. You can see it in the clear, in just a clear finish. G90 unpainted, so galvanized, unpainted for the exterior. QuietPerf panel types, open end standard, so both ends are open, just folded on the vertical lengths. End caps, where you encapsulate the top and the bottom of the panel. and then the V-ridge style, which we'll show you further down in the webinar. Finished four-sided perf, so all four sides of the perf are bent in, which creates the channels around the perimeter of the panel, the perforated panel itself with the perf. Frame four-side solid border. Pan style for ceiling grid systems. Hanging baffles are also available. Optional cloud kit. Here's a good example of your NB2 panel, bagged or unbagged with the top and bottom end open. Here's an NB4 panel, just a thickness, NB4, so 4-inch. And then you have the cloud panel to 2-inch and 4-inch bagged. You have the 4-inch as well. And you have the baffles, 2-inch and 4-inch. And the baffles are typically used on a barrier wall system where you have either an HVAC system that's still accumulating noise after you've barricaded it with the barrier wall system. You can install this in between as a baffle system to help reduce that reverberation. Here's a good example of NB2 V-ridge panel. So this is your design of the V-ridge panel, basically. You can see it's got the shapes of V's going along the face of the panel. Here's another good picture of the perforated. This perf here, it's kind of hard to see because of the picture, but this has a 40% open with black bag, and it looks very clean in the architectural setting. Here's the NB2 just with your standard perf, J and Z style, next to some machinery, right closer to the top of the ceiling as recommended. And this is to help any reverberation or high frequency. QuietPerf NB2 panels used to reduce reverberation on a rooftop unit. So all these have different styles of installation. You have the head channels that are running vertically here, and you have some areas that we'll learn a little bit further down where they're being installed horizontally. But as you can see, some of this stuff, it's hard to get all these dimensions for all the electrical that's going to be coming through the walls or piping. So a lot of it is done in the field with a simple tin snip cutter just all around the perimeter, and then we can provide the flashing to cover up any rough edges or sharp edges. This is a job, Latysis barrier wall that was done. Really nice size job. We have a barrier wall, as you can see here in the front, with some louvers on the bottom. In the next picture, you'll see where we installed NB2 panels on the lower portion of the barrier wall, over by the pump areas, a lot of the piping. There was still noise coming through there, so we dressed that up with some of the NB2 panels, and you can tell a lot of them were notched out in the field. Here's a couple more of the interior of the wall, where it's the actual host building wall, and you can tell where we notched out for some electrical wiring for lighting. And here's a closer picture of that. This is just a close-up of the Z-style installation with the J bottom. Here's another barrier wall we did in Glencoe, Illinois. It's the same thing. We went ahead and put NB2 panels and a barrier wall around a perimeter of a HVAC enclosure, and there was still some noise interrupting the nearby residents, and we added more NB2 and NB2 or NB4 panels around the perimeter. And you'll see how they're mounted horizontally here. Vertically. And you got some notches here for the electrical. As you can see, there's residential areas in the background here. We added some perforated panels there along that wall to help with the noise reduction. And here's some installed in the horizontal position, same to protect or to reduce the noise from going into the residential areas. Here's a good one of a chiller pit we did. It gives you a little more of an idea on the notching of the paneling system. You can tell we can do these specialty panels in sizes, shapes, and forms in this factory if all the proper dimensions are provided. Here's another barrier wall system we did in River Forest, where we had to address the host wall again because of the hard surfaces. Here's some more hat channel style installations with the Z encapsulating either end. This is just a simple ZZ installation here. It's another view, give you an idea of the bigger cutouts. You have multiple panels going up the wall here with a bigger cutout. And again, this is either done in the field or in the shop. Just a V-Ridge panel that we were discussing earlier. Here's a good picture of the front face of it and how it looks. And it's also being used in the ceiling, as you can see here. And then the electrical perforation, like I discussed earlier. Here's the same area for a V-Ridge panel. You can tell it's on the rooftop and the walls. All the all the punctures we did for the electrical outlets to dress up the actual host room. We might, in an enclosure like this, we had a client who had 2 of the existing walls, and we just provided the 1 wall for him, and then encapsulated his whole enclosure with MB2 V-Ridge panels to help with the reduce the noise levels. Just another picture of it, another view of the V-Ridge panels with some more penetrations. And a couple more examples of the V-Ridge around the door perimeter, lighting, some alarm systems. Here's a good picture of the 2-inch offset where you have the, if you can notice, you have the conduit that's sitting there existent, and then the electrical or water or gas or anything that you have going on in a factory. This is a good example of how we can use a 2-inch offset or 4-inch offset to bypass those interferences without interrupting what is currently on the wall. Here's a gymnasium with the perforated panels, MB2 panels along with the J and Z install style, just along the top portion of the gymnasium to help reduce some of that echo. Summary: QuietPerf sound absorption panel systems. Our QuietPerf panels are available in a variety of thicknesses, widths, and lengths. The panels are available in many perforated patterns and several end cap designs to meet your aesthetics and acoustical needs. Noise Barriers offers technical support and representatives with experience necessary to assist you in the design, supply, and installation of our sound control panels. Durable powder paint finish from our standard 6 RAL colors. Custom colors are available. Available in galvanized, galvanneal, stainless steel, and aluminum. The longest warranty in the industry of 5 years for the material. If you need additional information, please reach out to our marketing team in the email here. And they'll be more than willing to send you over any packets, whether it's additional brochures, information, test data, sound absorption panel information if you have questions about it. If you want to receive samples, specifications, AutoCAD drawings, or budget pricing. If you need any additional information on any Noise Barriers products. If you want to hear from our sales rep to assist you. We know your time is valuable. Thank you again for joining the webinar, QuietPerf Sound Absorption Panel Systems. I hope you guys learned a lot today, and it was very informative. And we thank you for joining us today. See if there's any questions here. Looks like we're good. Thank you everybody for joining the webinar, and I appreciate it. If anything comes up, please feel free to reach out to our marketing department. They'll be more than willing to send you over information that you may need or require in order to get some pricing.